Before I get into the video, I feel like I should start it with a disclaimer. You should already know this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Smoking is really bad for you. Don't do it. Don't pick up that cigarette. Don't start. It will ruin your life. It will kill you, which would be a really bad thing because I need you to be alive. So you can like, subscribe, and follow me on Letterboxd. This isn't a super well researched list or anything. These are just some of my favorite movies that make smoking look like it maybe could be a good time. Yeah, anyways, I wanna start first with some honorable mentions. My first honorable mention is Ashes and Diamonds, which I watched for the first time last night. Highly recommend. There's not a ton of smoking in this, but the main character does at one point smoke a cigarette as he's wearing sunglasses and what looks to be some sort of army fatigue. And he has great hair. So if you put all those pieces together, you're bound to look cool smoking. So that's why I put it in my honorable mentions. My next honorable mention is In the Mood for Love by Wong Kar-wai. Now, if you're wondering why this is in the honorable mentions and not in the main list, the main reason is that I haven't seen this in a long time and I didn't have time to watch it this week. All I remember is that there's a lot of really beautiful cinematography related to smoking in this movie. At least I think there is. My last honorable mention is Pulp Fiction. I think I'd be remiss if I didn't include a Tarantino movie in this. And I think the thing that's so special about Pulp Fiction is that it brings this sort of Americana to smoking. I also think that the smoking helps add to kind of the seediness of the characters of the movie. So that's why it gets an honorable mention. Okay, the first movie on my list of movies that make smoking look cool is a movie I watched last week, A Complete Unknown. Unfortunately for us in today's society, the consequences of smoking are no longer a complete unknown. Guys, let me ask you a question. What's cooler than Timothée Chalamet smoking a cigarette? If you said this picture of me with LeVar Ball at a basketball tournament in Vegas back in 2017, you'd be close, but unfortunately wrong. The correct answer is Timothée Chalamet as Bob Dylan smoking a cigarette. Seriously, you take two of the coolest people to probably ever live, and they're technically one person in this movie, and they're smoking a cigarette. Absolute cinema. Okay, but what's the point? Why should you care? Well, instead of waking up in the morning and immediately doom scrolling on TikTok, you could be like Bob and start your day off right with a hearty breakfast full of carcinogens. The second movie on my list, maybe a bit of a curveball, maybe unexpected, but I'm going with Barry Lyndon. Bit retro. Different form of tobacco altogether, pipes instead of cigarettes. But nonetheless, I'm picking this movie exclusively for the one scene in the carriage where Barry blows smoke directly in Lady Lyndon's face. Listen, disrespecting women, not okay, but this scene looks amazing. Well done, Stanley. My third pick is Goodfellas, one of my favorite movies. I'm not gonna say anything about this one. I'm just gonna show you the scene that I thought of when I had this video idea and let you be the judge of how cool it is.
Summer's gone, and all the roses dark.
It's getting near dawn when lights close the tired eyes.
For my fourth pick, we're taking a trip to Paris because the next movie is Breathless, which is what you'll be if you try to smoke this many cigarettes in a 24-hour span. If you were ever wondering what French people do all day, just watch this movie. Yeah, that's about it. As I was making my list for this video, I realized that pretty much every movie made before 1970, which is right around probably where they figured out that smoking's really bad for you and can cause cancer, almost every old Hollywood Golden Age movie makes smoking look cool. So I could have just made a list of movies from like 1935 to 1960, but that would be boring. So if I'm missing one of your favorite old classic movies, I tried to diversify. My last movie on this list is a classic, doesn't smoking look awesome kind of movie. I'm talking about Dr. No, the first James Bond movie starring Sean Connery. And if you've seen this movie, you know I'm specifically talking about the opening scene where James Bond, Sean Connery, is introduced. There's probably been studies done by some nerd at Harvard that show that this scene, if James Bond wasn't smoking, would be 54% less cool than him smoking. Something to think about. But yeah, in summary, the reason I'm choosing this movie is because if I had to convince somebody that smoking is cool, I would show them Sean Connery doing it. And yeah, that's my list. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, and follow me on Letterboxd. Thank you guys so much too for the support on my last video. It really means a lot to see that people are watching my stuff. So thank you. I'll see you next Saturday.